Alright, we're going to go over your y-intercept, how to find the y-intercept of equations. I need you to fill in your notes as you are watching this video and pause it whenever you need to. So the first thing we're going to recap is what slope-intercept form is. And slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b is the y-intercept. In order to determine the y-intercept of an equation, the equation must be in slope-intercept form. If the equation is not in slope-intercept form, we need to solve for y in order to change the equation into slope-intercept form. The next three examples, we're going to identify the slope and the y-intercept of each of these just because you already know how to find slope and it will give us some good practice. So if we look at example 1, we have y equals negative 3x plus 5. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, which is the number in front of x, and b is your y-intercept, which is the constant, a number that's by itself. So my slope in this equation is negative 3 because that's the number in front of x. My y-intercept is 5 because it's the number without the variable. And we can also write my answer as 0, 5 because a y-intercept is when x is 0. We have example 2, y equals 2/3 x minus 12. 2/3 is my slope and negative 12 is my y-intercept. You got to make sure you look at the sign that's in front of that 12. So we can write it as 0, negative 12 as the ordered pair. In the last one, my equation is y equals negative 16x, so that makes my slope negative 16. And I don't have anything after this, so that's just like having 0, and we have 0, 0. The next three examples are not in slope-intercept form. They are in standard form. So I've given you some notes on how to change that into slope-intercept form. You add or subtract the x and its coefficient to the opposite side of the equal sign. On the left side of the equal sign, we'll write what is remaining. On the right side of the equal sign, you're going to write the x and its coefficient, and then write the constant, which is the number without the variable. Then you're going to divide the coefficient in front of y by each number, write the equation in slope-intercept form, and make sure everything is simplified. So we did this not too long ago, so we're going to show our work to put it in slope-intercept form. So example 4, we have 3x minus 2y equals 6. Since this is positive 3x, we subtract 3x from both sides. That leaves me with negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. I divide by negative 2 for everything. That gives me y equals, that's negative 3 over negative 2, which is positive 3 over 2x. And 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So down here, I'm going to write my slope-intercept form, y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. My slope is 3 over 2. My y-intercept is negative 3, and we can also write that as 0, negative 3. Example 5, I have negative 6y plus x equals negative 36. We need to move x first, so since this is positive x, we subtract x on both sides. That gives me negative 6y equals negative x minus 36. Now we divide everything by negative 6. And I have y equals, this is just like having a negative 1x. So negative 1 over negative 6x, negative 36 divided by negative 6 is positive 6. But we need to make sure we simplify this fraction. So I have y equals 1/6 x plus 6. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to write y equals 1/6 x plus 6. Your slope is 1/6. Your y-intercept is 6, which can be written as 0, 6. And we have one last example. Since this is negative 5x, we add 5x to both sides. That leaves me with negative y equals 5x plus 40. Remember, the negative sign can't stay here, so we need either divide by the negative sign or divide by -1. Both is the same thing. So that's y equals 5x divided by -1 is -5x. 40 divided by -1 is -40. So my equation in slope-intercept form is y equals -5x minus 40, where my slope is -5 and my y-intercept is -40, and that can be written as 0, -40. So now what I want you to do is go to your practice page, which is in Google Classroom, to practice identifying the slope and the y-intercept of your equations. Make sure to show your work in your math notebook, please.